They have sympathy.
And kind of see if those will link together for us. You can. I wouldn't expect much out of it in this location, but let's test it out. We never know. So, welcome to the powder magazine. This is where I get to take a little break from the backpack. Again, I'm drenched. It's not that warm out here for y'all, but we're going to be talking about that little building first off with the crosses on it. First off, those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with earthquake bolts, they're basically turnbuckles. If we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, you can turn those turnbuckles and it's supposed to straighten the building back up by tightening it up. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring these up is because this is the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in, because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina, finished in 1713. We are here because this is what I call a familiar. It's like using a toy to attract a child ghost. This is a familiar building to when Anne Bonny was actually here in Charlestown. So, this building, when we talked about the walls earlier, by the way, that garage over there is where the original Charlestown walls actually stood. So it went up past the powder magazine and then started going south behind me, locking the powder magazine into the corners on purpose. If it gets attacked from a pirate ship or Revolutionary warship, it's going to have a hard time actually making it to the powder magazine, because the walls are 32 inches thick. Even if it does go through, it's going to have a hard time blowing it up. If it does blow up, the gunpowder is supposed to go up in the air because the walls are too thick to go out, but there's sand underneath those roof shingles that's supposed to go up with the gunpowder explosion and then fall to put out the fire of the gunpowder. And the sand is still there because it's never been attacked, but that idea doesn't work either, just so you know. We had another battery or powder magazine that did get hit near the battery, sand went up, the building burned to the ground. Just doesn't exist. So, this building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. That's, again, our story begins in the middle of it. 1708, follow me, there's a lot of twists. Young lady moves here in 1708. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. Is everybody with me? The young lady's name is Anne Cormack. They land in Georgetown, just north of here. I will tell you, oh, by the way, that the three of them were running away from his wife. Just kind of putting that out there. How mad was she? She had to leave Ireland to come here. But they land in Georgetown, Dad buys a plantation, Mom dies pretty quickly. So that means he has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation to kind of keep things afloat. That's why we're here. Familiar building. Now, Anne back home in Ireland, kind of a badass chick. They say she actually killed one of her servants when she was only 10 or 12 years old with a knife to the belly. So again, she's kind of hardcore. Keep that mentality of her as we go through the rest of the story. Fast forward. Building's done in 13. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne falls in love pretty quickly because she wants her freedom. This is guy number one. Turns out to be James Bonny. Now, you can already see where this one's going. Dad doesn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica, they get married, and Cormac becomes Anne Bonny. So again, we've already mentioned her name, most famous female pirate of the Golden Age. When she gets down there, this guy is not Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy happens to be a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British and a coward in her eyes. She falls in love again a few years later, guy number two. Guy number two turns out to be John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Now, this is literally the person they based your Captain Jack Sparrow character off of, just so you guys know. So he is that Captain Jack Sparrow she was hoping for, and he has his own ship. However, females curse pirate ships. You can't put a girl on the crew if she wants to be part of it, so he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and hide your gender, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. So she's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, I'm a pirate, let's go. We're all adults here, right? So put two and two together. Being a female in his quarters, she's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a female, and then they're all going to be mad at Jack and vote him off. That's how it works. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby over here. These are some friends of mine. They'll help you come back later. We'll figure it out. So she has a baby, returns with no baby. We have no idea what happens to this child, by the way. I've done a ton of research, can't find any inkling of thought with this baby. She's also dressed like a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. She wants her freedom and doesn't care anymore. Jack captured another pirate crew while she was away giving birth to his child. She's going to go flirting with that pirate crew down below deck because that's what Anne does. We're on guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have two females dressed like males on the same crew. This young lady's name is Mary Reed. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to know for certain. And the British find out where they are. They send their entire fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only two pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their one-bullet flintlocks because they probably don't know how to use the cannons yet. obviously they're going to get taken. And as they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." So we're dog very prominent here for your spirit boxes, just so you know. The judge, his name is Nick as well, so if you hear my name, it's relative in one of three ways. We'll see how it goes. But Nick wants to see the two men that fought back so valiantly by themselves. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight, so they're dead and gone. The two ladies go in front, they reveal their gender. He doesn't care that they're female. He cares that they're pirates, and he's still going to hang them. They scream out, "We plead our bellies," which means they're claiming to be pregnant, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail. Delays the hanging. Dad is still here in the Charlestown area, brings Anne home with his Irish money, bails her out. She remarries, that's husband number 2, but guy number 4, we're going to count Mary Reed because we don't know, has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt end. Mary Reed dies a year later, 1721, in that Jamaican jail, from whatever pirates die from in the Jamaican jail. We don't know if either pregnancy was true. So, as far as questions for your spirit boxes, I only left out 2 things. We're in the spirit game. You all know what the hell you're doing by now. We've been together for a long time. So, as far as the questions that I can prove definitively is the name of Calico Jack's ship. So, if you want to ask that out of your spirit boxes, or the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I did not mention their names purposely, so you all had something to work with. Now, before I have you guys spread out and actually have some fun with your devices, I'm going to keep you for 1 more minute. There's a reason why I gave you that heated warning at the beginning of our tour. I wait to the end because we're in the space of it actually happening, and it's relative to the story. Back in September of last year, I brought my group back here, same size. Kid next to me goes white as a ghost. I mean, literally white as a ghost. He starts to drop. I have to pick him up by his armpit. His boyfriend picks him up from the other side of him. We get him over to that little wall over there where he can sit down, get a bottle of water. He's feeling better. I then tell the story. It's important to know that he doesn't know what you now know that I told you about Anne Bonny. I send everybody out to go play with their devices, get us some footage. They pull me aside. Nick, we have to tell you, we are 2 transgender males, meaning I had 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary on the tour. And it made complete sense as to why one of them passed out the minute we entered the space. So, these are the uncanny things that I see but can't explain. These are why I give the heated warnings. Psychics and mediums normally don't make it past the King Financial Center. I don't know how many times I've had to call the EMTs on a cool night. Again, a little humid for us tonight. I'm talking cool nights of January, February, March. I get somebody passing out because they want to play with a spirit that they didn't tell me that they were a psychic. So, take that in stride. There's places you can go. As far as cameras, you can go and check out the front of the Powder magazine if you'd like. Just don't get in the way of the other tours. If you want to use your lasers, Lewis, you can do that. Just make sure they stay on the ground at the front lawn. Don't go past it because that building behind is an apartment. You'll be shining lasers on somebody's TV. You don't want to be doing that. But again, just don't get in the way of the other tours. Spirit boxes, loud and proud. EMF readers, do not expect numbers from yours and do not expect a whole lot of colors from yours. What I like to do with your colors piece of that is ask Anne Bonny what color her hair was and see if you get an answer. So I love that. Maybe you can try that one too since we're actually using both of them tonight. I don't always use the EMF reader that you have. So ask her what color her hair was and see if you guys get an answer out of it. Very interesting to play with that. So let's get those spirit boxes up loud and proud. I'm going to go hang out by the wall while you guys all do the work. What do you think, Krista?
Yeah, give me the...
Alright, good.
Oh, you want the box box? You tell me if you see it. Okay? You tell me.
Show her how she can do it. Do you have a cell phone on you?
Oh, yeah.
So use your cell phone and put it next to your device to make it filter red. So her hair color is red. You get a red reading out here. It doesn't happen very often.
There we go.
There you go. You got it. You guys can use your spirit box in here too if you want. Just throw it in your back pocket.
Oh, she's got hers.
Oh, you already got it? Just
yeah.
opening in?
Yeah.
I want to see your word list. So literary. We were, where's the alliteration? I know, right? Wait till you see how they look on that camera. Like, they look white. It's the craziest thing ever. So,
I want to see.
They actually look pretty crazy. So,
Oh, yeah.
it's the weirdest, like they have a weird reflective coating on them or something. Alright, so do we hear anything along the way here? See anything on your spirit box? Nothing? What the hell is that? That towards might be somebody still from the alley down there. It's not anything from over here. I had a layer. Alright, anything else come up in our spirit box? I think that covers them. Alright, so videos, if you want to get some footage of the alley behind me as I'm telling the story, by all means do so. Just be very discreet because the tours that are going to be coming down there, I don't think you're recording. Hit that circle. The other tours that are going to go down there did not pay to get filmed. However, you all did. That's why you all are here, right? You're all movie stars. So, again, it's a great view of the alley and the fact that it's empty. So, this is Philadelphia Alley. It used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So we all talk about one specific duel because we can actually prove that it happened here. So here's how this story actually goes down. You're going to hear a lot of words that slow down on those key words. There was a doctor that moved down here from Rhode Island. His name is Joseph Brown Black. He moves down here because his fiancée Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. Now, she's an attorney that's helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that the doctor is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor so that way he's not going to take her cash away, her inheritance. To prove that he's not after her money, he moves to Charleston. As he's coming into town, a coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. So he's getting ready to drop him off, and somebody's walking by, sees what's about to happen, and says, "Hang on, you don't want to go in there." That gentleman's name is Ralph Isaacs. I stopped on Ralph because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. R.I. loves to show up here, but we need a secondary clue so we know who it belongs to. So he says, "You don't want to go in there. He's going to try to kill you, but I have some friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay there, and you'll be safe." The doctor takes him up on the offer, and the two become friends. As long as the doctor chose to stay here in Charleston, his practice is taking off. He's making a lot more money. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's cash. So, Amanda's also moving down soon. Now that he has enough money, he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. I will tell you, every haunted city you're going to visit ever will have a cliche whistling ghost. It is just one of those things. We actually have proof of this one specifically. So, with that said, him and Ralph go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. It's just how it works. They're talking about William III one night on the way home, and the doctor thought the new actress in town was great. Ralph, not so much. Turns into a heated argument when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. They go their separate ways. Ralph is from here. He goes to see his friends at the newspaper. So an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. So kind of a jerk move. The doctor sees the ad and rebuttals with, "Let's go down to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. And somebody's going to die." So they come down, they take the 10 paces, they turn. The doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. So Ralph has his one shot. He puts it in the kneecap on the body. Yeah, that one hurt, right? Normally I shoot somebody. Rick was in front of me, but he's kind of glaring me down. So I'm not going to forgive him. So at any rate, he gets shot in the kneecap. He drops to the ground and doesn't die. His friends pick him up. They carry him home to 59 Church Street, and he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. This guy's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed out the bullet wound himself. So they say, obviously, as you walk through here, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. I want you to keep in mind, if you're going to do that on your own without me, because I can't take you down there, you'll know why in a minute, turn on your voice recorders from your phones and see if you get any whistles. But keep in mind, all of the locals know the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street from the other side throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. We're going to end right there. My garage is right here, which means I have to pass the alley. So I always throw a whistle down the alley, especially since I can't go down there anymore. So let's get into why I got kicked out. That's the fun part.
Oh boy.
Yeah. This alley didn't always come all the way through. So it means the bricks on the other side of this alley were older than the bricks we're looking at right here on the Cumberland Street side. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. Literally, turn those bricks over and over again. Full handprint and fingerprint wipes in those bricks. Obviously, you guys picked up on all about the history. It's a matter of showing off how far we've come. It's the only reason why I would stop and point them out. I also treat that brick the same way I do a grave. I'm not going to get any activity out of a kid staring at the brick in the afterlife because he's not. So that's kind of the whole point of that. But everybody wants to put an EMF meter near there, a spirit box. My entire team of 10 huddled around that one brick trying to get a reading out of it. Let's outside a gentleman's dining room unit. There's a beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. He come out screaming, not very happy with me. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I did not have a tour that night. I worked in retail for over 20 years and finally took Thanksgiving off. The next day was November 28th. I got a phone call from the tourism office asking me to reroute or take my tour on just halfway, like what we're allowed to actually do. So with that said, it's not fair for my teams of 10 to be trying to work around teams of 20 to 60 going down the alley in a small space. So I said we're going to reroute. I didn't tell them what we were going to be doing. I said we're going to wing it and see what happens. I didn't even believe the story I was about to tell them. Before we leave, somebody hears the name Ann on a spirit box. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating Ann Bonny, a female pirate. When we get up there, I tell them what I did know about Ann Bonny, which wasn't much, because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirates guy. So somebody else hears the number 300. I don't know what that means until the next day when I do the research. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Ann Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So I keep taking you all back up there in hopes that we're going to keep continuing to capture more evidence from this location. What I will tell you is that, again, I'm not a pirates person, but I have read a crap ton of pirates books to be able to piece this together and try to find as much factual data as I possibly can. We're talking about pirate lore. It is a hit or miss location. We're either going to have a lot going on or nothing going on. Again, that's kind of the key of that. Now, as far as the Pinckney Mansion, it's usually a big hotspot, but it's usually up to when we find stuff going through the media because you're just getting used to your devices. This space, you all know what you're doing. If anything, you're going to learn a shit ton about pirates. That's the whole point. So let's go up and have some fun with some crazy female pirates, and let's go see what we can find up there. As far as your cameras, if you want to continue recording, you can. But we're going to go up to that Powder magazine, and we're going to talk about pirate lore and see what we got going on up there. Anything heard along the way? Wait till we get into the space. We'll see what goes on. All right.
Maybe we can visit Bula's Alley tomorrow.
Oh.
Maybe.
Are you supposed to do laser?
Oh, really? I'm not sure. I'm sure I've got a laser. These people don't. They're losers.
Better than that.
So, you got my phone.
There you go.
Yeah, let's get a little picture of it.
Right? Have I screwed anybody up yet? I normally get somebody across somewhere. Alright. Lewis, you got anything on your spirit box?
No.
Okay. Pop up. So Johnson is John's last name. Yes, his name was John Johnson. And we will get Ben, John, and Johnson every 6 to 7 weeks. I can't pinpoint the day yet, but we're dealing with the stone tape theory here. This is kind of a ghost hunting 101 crash course in case you guys didn't pick up on that. So the bricks you're standing on, these are Belgian blocks. They're made of granite. Now, you guys have probably heard of limestone before. You all seem like you know something about the paranormal. You've heard that term before. Granite is not supposed to hold any electrical charge whatsoever, which means we're not supposed to have any kind of EMF that will pop out of it. So, place your device on a brick and tell me if you get any numbers. Any brick at all. She should only be getting about a 1.1. Nothing higher than that because 1.1 is natural from the earth. So I kind of expect that. If you get anything above that, I kind of need, want to know what's going on. So just let it kind of sit there and let me know what the highest number is that you get. We've seen it go all the way up to 15. What do you got coming up?
Ben.
You heard Ben? Before I mentioned it? So on the way in or along the way down?
Before you mentioned Benjamin, I heard Ben like super quick, and then I was like,
Awesome. Gotta make sure I write that one down. Do you have any numbers yet? Nothing at all? So it might be one of those
We're
days.
running around point two.
Gotcha. Which is expectation. Before people used to live here, the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here. That's another reason why we like to come down here, because that's the name of the alley, Lodge Alley. That's why it's named after the Freemasons. We will get terms wrapped around the Freemasons as well, including Freemason, Mason, brick, symbols, and the word Illuminati. Yes, the word Illuminati loves to come through on your spirit boxes. It's the funniest thing in the world to me, because who the hell's talking about the Illuminati on the radio, first off? 6 years, or last year we heard it 6 times. This year so far we've heard it 3 times. Verified. Like Illuminati only while I'm in this space. So again, take that for what it's worth. And again, we don't spend a lot of time here because obviously somebody is in that hotel room right there, and that's why we turn our spirit boxes down. But the next space we're going to is another alley, but I can't take you all the way through it like this one. So I've been booted out. You guys have all the blinky lights and the noisemakers and the lasers and all that stuff. It is considered residential at the end. So again, I still stir up enough activity outside of it, and we will, fingers crossed, have enough clues coming from that story through the remainder of our time together, because we're going to be relatively close to it. Things do like to bleed over as we kind of get into those areas. Once we get up to that area, again, I'll kind of position the camera so we can get some good footage going down the alley. You're going to start to see those much larger groups. It's a very popular space, just so you guys know. I'm also going to be telling you that story a lot differently than the other tours because you're ghost hunting. You need details. You're going to see why I tell the story a lot differently once we get up there. After that, I'll be telling you why I got booted out of the alley, because yes, it's relevant to the area that we go to next. And it is fun to hear how Nick got in trouble in the city of Charleston. And again, it's a fun part of the story, but as we kind of go through the rest of this alley, continue recording with your video, but we're going to stop videotape as we exit the alley because we're cutting through a neighborhood to get to that next space. So again, if you have a camera, just stop your video at the exit, and just keep following me, and we'll go up to the next alley and see if we can capture. Has anybody heard anything or seen anything before we move on?
I got 2s.
2s again. Killing me with these numbers, and none of them are adding up. Well, they probably do add up in some way, shape, or form. I just don't know how.
It's about to be
2,
Tuesday.
6.
We're doing an 11.
That's Ben and 11. And no numbers out of yours? Nothing specific? Alright, so it's a dead night on the Belgian blocks. Again, we're in week 4 or 5 of that loop. So again, I really wasn't expecting much. The Ben, again, I wish you had the recordable one so I could verify it, but who knows? Maybe it showed up on the other one as well. So we'll kind of see what goes on. Again, let's head up to the next alley.
I heard a James, but I'm not that sure.
James? There's definitely a few James that live down here. Definitely want to fill those places when you... Oh, for sure. I had anything to worry about. Sometimes I'm like a bad dad. Like, shut those lasers off. Shoot it now. They're gonna hit us. There we go. This is a new casing I'm using on there, so kind of see. Seems like it's a little mishaps there. How about yours? Like anything coming up on here? Correlation. Anything before that along the way?
Tonight, scratch.
Aubrey, anything else coming out of yours?
I'm gonna scare the ghost away.
Heist them with my moves.
No, you gotta have ghostly energy. Yeah, let's go by the gate.
You're looking at me, Megan. your box.
Where?
Back in the morning.
Like back in the corner? Alright, so whenever I'm breaking out the tablet, for those of you using video cameras, you can stop them so you can hit your orange square if you haven't already done so, and then yours is the top button that's flickering. Nope, down here on the camera itself.
Yeah, let me go ahead and record.
You're gonna be in the whole video. Here, if you hold like out, then you won't be in the shot. Yeah.
Maybe I want to get stopped.
I'm glad we don't have questions because I couldn't remember what he was saying. You wanna go over there?
Oh man, instead of a dumpster.
So why are there two lasers?
Just different patterns.
Is that why? Okay.
Yeah. I have weak girly arms. I got a little baby
You're gonna
arms.
be doing this for like an hour.
I know. I wonder if that thing has audio and it's just hearing me like complain the whole time.
I think it does. Yeah, let's go over there. Here, go over there.
You're just trying to hide me. That's the most straight of weed they're smoking over there. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, even.
Oh, right. I need to turn it on.
What was that? Okay, let's go back now.
It's right. See that double movement? Off. On.
Do you think we get to trade or no?
You want to trade at some point?
No, I mean like with the other stuff.
Oh. The thing is, I think we're actually supposed to be near other individuals doing this, so that if there is a reading around somebody else, you have a cross-reference, so it's not just one. One could be an anomaly, two is a bit of a pattern, three is like... Two is a coincidence, three is a pattern, I think that's the same.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I gotta get
Stretch it out. Sometimes the colors kind of flash.
Wafer. So
Maybe it's just moving really quickly.
Yeah, we've been looking for something like in the middle.
Yeah, no, I don't.
What your favorite color is? How's the camera work going, guys?
I think it's okay.
Okay.
I haven't seen
This is
anything.
not always an in-the-moment type like find, unless it's a hey, I'm right here. You know,
Yeah.
it's usually about the review of what you're going to capture the next day. The camera's super small, I understand that, so that's why I give it to you on YouTube and blow it up. And when I'm watching it, again, I have a pretty large computer screen. Obviously, I tech out a little bit in the office, so it's a matter of like I need to be able to review stuff. And usually I pass out a spirit box in every single group, but we had a lot of groups of 2 tonight, so it was a matter of like I had a weird dynamic. So my apologies for not getting you a spirit box. What I am going to do is I'm going to get you an original SP7 spirit box for you to pocket right now. So what that's going to do is when you're not able to use the lasers, at least the 2 of you can listen in on a spirit box together. It's open air, so that way you guys can actually, you know, work when you're not laser.
Lasery?
Yeah, exactly. So I'll go ahead and get it set up and show you how to turn the volume up and down. And then again, you'll give some pretty deep pockets, so you'll be good to go.
Man pockets.
Yeah.
Same here. Cargos are the way to go in this profession, man.
So I've heard of spirit box before. What is it? Like,
So it's going to sweep through the FM radio stations. I'm sure you see the numbers flipping through the blue screen, right?
right.
So basically what I'm asking you to do is to listen to see if any words slip through from a song lyric, a DJ, or a commercial. If you hear welcome, obviously we're welcome in the space that we're in, but I'm going to try to tie that to something else. So Miss Aubrey's already heard I'm here and then had an EMF spike simultaneously. So again, she kind of had, like, I'm going to be using the spirit boxes kind of in sync with each other to see if we can make full sentences, are we getting the full message, so forth and so on. So the only thing you need to worry about is how to turn the volume up and down on the ball speaker. So if the screen is the face, that's the top.
Right.
So obviously there's a little button on the side that you have to hold up to get some volume out of it. Just kind of give it a minute, and then obviously when I'm talking to the whole group, you turn it down. So it's literally just a scroll down, and then you scroll it up and hold it. Kind of get some volume back and forth out of it.
Oh, cool, right.
So,
yeah.
nice and easy, and it's already set up to the right sweeping, speed, so that way you can just pocket it, do your laser work in here. On our way to the next location, I'll say whip out that spirit box, so that way you two can listen along the way.
Okay.
So, there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Maybe we should go by Aubrey then, with your lasers.
Oh, although I got big pockets, but like I don't know how big. Give me a second.
Okay. Here, do you want me to hold something?
Maybe it
I'll
won't.
drop that. It's probably like $1,000. Oops,
Hold my.
you lost your tissue.
Oh god, I really need that. That is an absolute need. Let me just pocket my ball.
I'm glad we got that. So, remember, I'm recording everything you say.
Gotta make sure you're.
No.
Love it. Love it.
Sometimes it just, I don't know if it just like flashes a little bit.
did a great job. All right, you are back up and running. Thank you. Thank you.
I've heard of the term spirit box, but I've never seen one before.
I love these shoes, but they pick up every large pebble on. All right, so welcome to your first spot. Yes, it's a parking lot. Congratulations. What happened to yours?
I don't know, find out or something.
That guy.
Oh, fell out.
That guy
That's
fell out.
why.
Yep.
We have one of those at
So,
work.
this parking lot actually used to be something. That's why we're here. So, congratulations. If you guys don't know where to park, by the way, by the time I'm done with you, I don't know how to help you. So, I'm going to help you lots. So, what did this space used to be? This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. I guess first and foremost, with you Spirit Box folks, I am not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. Again, you're going to get the answers from your Spirit Boxes, and that way you all have a genuine experience. Is that fair? Again, I'm not going to give you all the answers. Pinckneys, let's talk about them. Who were they? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. Does everybody look, see why I need those secondary verifiers at this point? There's 3 different Charleses there. I need to know which one we're actually talking to. So with that said, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a pretty big deal to us, but I hate politics more than all of you. So I'm going to move on to Eliza. She's way cooler anyway. Eliza, she married Charles at a young age, according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. So if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, you're not going to get answers like 12 and 14, just so you know. Again, think of today's standards. The reason I bring this up is because her husband, Charles, was over double her age. So, kind of a creepy age gap then, creepy age gap now. So just kind of put that in the back of your brains. But anyway, she married him because her father was over in England and he thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. He wants to see him before he dies. She didn't think he was dying, so she got married. 1744. You don't get married for a green card in 1744 because we're not a country. So again, she married this guy out of love. And she was right. Dad didn't die right away. So instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least an hour that I know of. You've seen the word indigo somewhere, I promise you. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. We have one person wearing blue jeans tonight. Good job. She has indigo on right now. So with that said, she didn't know what to do with the seeds when she got them. She learned from her slaves on how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here, obviously. We were super hot 3 days ago. Now we're not. Once she figured it out, she moves it to another plantation, calls her father, says the rice plantations are going downhill. We can make a killing with the indigo. Now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of. I know, right? Yeah, Chris is cheering over there. You got to see me during Women's History Month. So, but with that said, that's the Eliza's business. Let's kind of get into the weird stuff because that's why you guys are all here. I am going to kind of assign sets of questions so that way you can kind of remember one set of questions. With yours, I'm going to go with, there was 2 different wives named Eliza. So the first wife, obviously she died in January of 1744. 5 months later, he marries the one I just spoke of. Yeah, 5 months later after the death of the first Eliza. Ironically, they both have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. See if you can figure out which Eliza we're dealing with by asking the maiden name and see if she'll give it to you. Hopefully, you'll see it on your Spirit Box. You can ask what happened to the mansion. Who do I want to go with on that one? So Aubrey, I'll give you nice easy ones. The mansion's not here. Let's find out what happened to it. And then, obviously, if you get an answer, when did that happen? We're looking, obviously, for dates, numbers, whatever's going to relate us to when that actually occurred. April, the children. I'm going to trust you on this one. I told you there was at least one. His name was Charles. There are more. You can ask how many, and then what their names were. That's it. The reason why is there's a tragedy among those kids. If we poke the bear, all activity will stop. Have we had any numbers or any kind of EMF detection coming up at all? What about yours over there, Elizabeth? Nothing at all. Zeros. Okay. So don't poke the bear. Stick to the regime, right? You're the only one that I'm going to be strict with. I'm going to go with, who else has another Spirit Box? There's another one out there somewhere. Maybe not. No, okay. I apparently didn't pass all of them out, but I thought that I did. So, with that said, where's the other red one? Did I pass out both red ones? Oh, both of you have. I'm sorry. Losing my train of thought here. Eliza's dead. Ask anything you guys want to. So, how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Again, these are all answers that I commonly see. Every once in a while, you guys start coming up with extra things that I need to dive into tomorrow morning with the research. I will be writing down things that I don't commonly hear out of my guests on this tour. And again, I'm out here 7 nights a week. We are going to spread out in this location. However, I'm going to ask you to stay away from all vehicles. So those of you with cameras, don't film anything, and we're definitely not going to go in between vehicles. We are fortunate that there's only like 4 or 5 cars here. So again, the weekends, this thing is jam full, and we're really limited on space. So find those corners and see what's going on. As far as the lasers go, nice slow movements. I do have to work with Miss Elizabeth on her device, so everybody else, let's spread out, get those spirit boxes cranked up. Unmute yours.
Did you say there was something about Bob?
No.
5.5.
Already. There's your 5.
Oh, and now it just fell off.
Because that's why they call it ghost hunting. She's not going to stand still for you.
Yes.
Perfect. So
Up
now,
2.5 now.
So,
Now back to
just
0.
stay still for me. I can't really see the lasers.
You're not supposed to. So the thing is, you don't see anything because there's nothing in between. But as soon as you do, you can see that there's a grid on me. And depending on like how the distortion is of the grid, you can tell what angle it's at and how close it is and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So,
You want to grab a corner? Hi.
I think you're supposed to move slowly, and you're stepping in it.
There's definitely something in this area. Just
Yeah.
Really? So, should I be able to see it on the camera?
I don't think so. Maybe like, you've got an infrared camera going on right there.
I think you're supposed to go really slow, though. And not step in it.
I've got weak little baby arms.
Here, hold your arms out like that. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that would be better. Don't go near a car, though.
You know I won't.
Okay. Hold it up.
You're like the biggest dork in the world.
I feel like I'm doing this wrong.
No, you might not. There's no like guarantee.